Hello everyone, this is Tricky, and welcome back to one of my favorite topics ever, realistic Pokemon. Detective Pikachu sparked a lot of fun but terrifying thoughts about our beloved Pokemon if they were in the real world. I never thought they would make a live-action Pokemon movie, but they're kind of making everything live-action, or CGI rather, but Pokemon. In the movie, Pikachu looks absolutely adorable and fuzzy, and I need 50 of them, while Mr. Mime makes me want to slam my head into the pavement. Greninja wasn't exactly what I was expecting either, because in the games and the anime, he looks pretty freaking cool, and then I've covered some creepy stuff like this in the past, but we're gonna go even further into it. There's actually a lot of Pokemon that wouldn't look as appealing if they were real, and my lovely friend the Aura Guardian is gonna help me share some of these abominations.
Why hello. Abominations is a very good word to describe some of these Pokemon. Now we should also mention that this is not the only realistic Pokemon video that we've worked on, as on my channel we go over another 20 realistic looking Pokemon. Those ones not nearly as terrifying as the 10 we're about to show, but definitely very accurate. That'll be in the description and in the comments if you want to check it out after this video. So subscribing and leaving a like if you enjoyed would be greatly appreciated.
So intro out the way, Alex is gonna kick this list off with some glorious monstrosities. So let's go ahead and begin.
Starting off our list at number 10 is Jellison. A lot of people see this water type as that fun looking Pringle-faced jellyfish, and while it does basically look like that, imagining a giant jellyfish with a face does sound kind of disturbing. Jellison being based on the Nurahian, a jellyfish yokai, which is basically a demon jellyfish, already doesn't sound like something you'd want to have as a pet. Along with that, also having traits from other sea monsters like the Kraken is definitely not a creature you'd want to come across when going for a swim in the sea. And given how dangerous a regular sized jellyfish can be, a giant one with bright red eyes is going to be a pretty scary sight, especially if you just so happen to get on its bad side.
At number 9, we have Munna. This little neck pillow looking Pokemon would seem to be a real cutie in real life. Kinda looks like a little pillow pet of some sort. Plus it has that adorable floral pattern all over it. It's just the perfect Pokemon to buy your kid. Nah. Let's take a closer look at Munna. Looks like a floating little bundle of flesh. So you wanna know what this thing would look like in real life? How about this gem? Do you like it? Kinda looks like a little levitating nightmare, huh? Being real here, Munna and Drowsy are based off of the tapir, plus the mystical creature, the Baku. Drowsy and Hypno probably wouldn't look that pretty either, honestly. Tapirs are actually really interesting, but Munna has some really messed up proportions, so if Munna was real, it definitely would not look like a real tapir, with all of its proportions and stuff. It looks like this creature got squished like Play-Doh to make Munna, and I feel really bad for it in a way. I know it's supposed to be based off of the Koro incense burner as well, but whew, if this thing came floating towards me, I would have a mini heart attack and I would hit it with a bat.
At number 8 we have Chimecho. This is an interesting one, as how the hell is anyone going to be able to make a Pokemon as adorable looking as Chimecho unpleasant in the slightest? Unless they drew Chimecho like this. This is horrifying. Chimecho being a living wind chime means that it's essentially a wind chime that's made of skin and has a face. Also, if you ever annoy this Pokemon, it's capable of making a sound so powerful that it's enough to make people go flying. It can literally Fushrodar you. But not so cool if you're on the receiving end of that. And especially if it's giving you this look. Yes, I know this drawing of Chimecho is pretty over-exaggerating, but a living, breathing wind chime made of skin would be a pretty scary sight, no matter how cute it's supposed to look.
Moving on to number 7, we have Gengar. There's a lot of cute art of this ghost, and despite its love to terrorize people, it really doesn't look that intimidating. I think he's really freaking cute, and he's one of the most popular Pokemon for a really good reason. He even looks huggable, but let's throw him in the real world. He has a super large smile, no neck, and basically just a giant face with some limbs. Realistically, Gengar would look absolutely terrifying. These designs make a lot of sense, and the detail of his teeth and his body in general are definitely a lot more grotesque than we were expecting. If we are going by Pokemon's actual lore and canon story, Gengar's Pokedex entry doesn't help its case at all. Its Moon Pokedex entry says it apparently wishes for a traveling companion. Since it was once human itself, it tries to create one by taking the lives of other humans. What a lovely friend. So if Gengar used to be human, it would definitely have a lot more human-like features, and with a smile that large, that thing would straight up look demonic. I need to give me some salt. Pokemon with any kind of human-like features have always freaked me out. Even this photo of a realistic Ghastly doesn't make me feel warm and safe either. Realistic Haunter looks kinda cool, honestly, but altogether, Gengar is terrifying.
At number 6 we have Ryu Necklace. how would you like to see what is essentially a giant fetus in green jelly floating around in real life? Because that's basically what Ryu Necklace is. It's pretty hard to imagine what Ryu Necklace would look like realistically, since it is pretty cartoony looking at first. But given that it's based on cells that's surrounded by cytoplasm, or green goo to put it, means it's most likely not going to be a pretty sight. So imagine the blob, but green, with a body inside it that's made of cells. It'd be terrifying, considering that everything Ryu Necklace is based on is pretty unpleasant to look at, given that it's all stuff that you can find inside of a human. I doubt the actual Pokemon itself will look any better.
Moving on to number 5, we have Togepi. I'm the most familiar with Misty's Bundle of Joy from the anime, and it has such cute moments. The Houndoom episode, it was so cute! But anyway, it's supposed to be a new hatchling Pokemon, and it doesn't really act that much different from human children. Its evolutions eventually gain their white feathers, and considering they are based off of a fairy-like egg bird thing, it makes sense that Togepi would just be a fleshy newborn baby poking out of its egg. Really thinking about it, that would make Togepi a really ugly baby in the real world. If they are based off of newborn birds, even though it's a beautiful thing, they're not really that adorable yet since they don't have their feathers, and Togepi doesn't even have a beak. Ooh, the thing would be ugly. It would look like a small goblin of some sort until it grew into its feathers, but that actually kind of makes sense. Togepi could also be based off of the Togepi from Korean folklore, which is a goblin. Since the Pokemon is technically still forming, if you cracked its body, you wouldn't want to see what's underneath, but you don't really want to crack an egg in general. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. There's some pretty detailed pictures of what the entire evolutionary line would look like, but with some artistic creativity and some additions, Togepi wouldn't look that bad with a beak. It would just look like an armored baby bird, and it would eventually turn into a graceful white bird. Of course, the actual Togepi doesn't have a beak, and it's just a fleshy egg monster. So assuming that it will be thrown into our world with this design that it has in the anime and the games, it probably wouldn't look that cute.
And number 4, we have the Poly line, specifically Poliwrath though. Now at this point it's common knowledge that the Polys are based on the life cycle of frogs, with the swirl on its front representing its real life counterparts, intestines, as its skin starts out as transparent so you can see it. So if that's also the case for the Polys, seeing it on a much bigger creature would not be a great sight. Even then, just seeing something with a giant swirl where its mouth should be, and given that Poliwrath's body proportions means that it's probably gonna look something along the lines of this, it would be very horrifying. Speaking of which, where does its mouth go when it evolves? We can only assume the swirl part is the mouth, which means it will probably eat stuff looking like this. After seeing these images, this is not a Pokemon I think I'd want by my side, or anywhere near me for that matter.
Next on our list is Wobbuffet. You could only imagine what this big bag of flesh would look like. Now, best case scenario is that it would look like an actual punching bag, since it's based off of one. But nah, that would be too easy. Wobbuffet is a living creature with organs and a mouth, and creepy alien toe things that help it move, I guess. But what if it looked like this? How does this make you feel? It makes me feel a little sad. The popular rumor is that the tail is the actual Pokemon and the blue part is just a dummy it uses for protection. That freaks me out even more because this could just be a lifeless flesh bag that could be punched around. It's a little different from the ones you could buy at the store, though it may be good for stress as long as it doesn't destiny bond you after a rage session. Now, I ain't got a clue what this thing is supposed to be, but I hate it. That definitely looks like something you would see from a scary movie, or just anything scary in general. That's the joy of art though. Little reminder to check out all of the talented artists who made these wonderful nightmares, give them all follows, and give them compliments.
In the runner-up spot we have Chancy, a Pokemon that's seen as the healer of the franchise, and while that might be the case, it wouldn't stop the fact that Chancy would probably look pretty scary if it was real. Imagine a fat, pink, egg-shaped blob with a giant egg in its front, with nubs for arms and legs, as well as weird nubby things hanging from its head. Look at this face. I will now never unsee this when looking at a Chancy, and thinking about what it would look like if it was real. And to be honest, this is the least bad Chancy image we have. Look at this! What is this? This is what I'd imagine the offspring of Chancy and a Xenomorph would look like. It's also possible that Chancy took some inspiration from chickens, because it always has an egg. Well, in that case, if it did have any notable chicken features, like a beak or feathers, I don't know if that would make it worse or not. So in short, Chancy, not a Pokemon I'd want to see in real life, or a Pokemon I think I'll ever look at the same again.
Now before we reveal number 1, we got some good ol' honorable mentions for you. First we got Giratina. This is honestly freaking amazing. Though it's not so amazing if you imagine a giant centipede spider dragon flying around everywhere. Then Voltorb and Electrode. If these things are actually spiders? Nah. Triple no. No. Finally, taking our number 1 spot is Gardevoir. This is one of the most popular and unfortunately one of the most sexualized Pokemon out of the entire series. Though it is a very beautifully designed Pokemon, let's be real here, it would not look like that if it was real. Big eyes, no lips, and a gown made out of flesh. The flesh gown don't really sound that nice. Gardevoir would most likely look like a 5-foot alien creature with long skinny arms and demented proportions. These pictures make it look like a new Star Wars villain or something that you would fight in Dark Souls. So can you imagine this thing following you around and being obsessed with you and always wanting to protect you? I mean, that'll be a nice effort, but I don't know. If I saw this thing staring at me in a dark room, I don't know if I would feel violated or protected. Well, if you still like this type of thing, we don't judge here, but this thing's freaky. Anime has the ability to make pretty much anything cute or adorable, but a real-life Gardevoir wouldn't look pleasant at all. Would a flesh dress feel sticky or clammy, or what would that actually feel like? What about Sylveon's flesh ribbons? Are they soft? It's kind of weird, ain't it? Well, that's enough of that. But anyway, we have even more realistic Pokemon for you guys. All you gotta do is go over to Alex's or the Aura Guardians channel. You'll find top 20 hyper-realistic Pokemon. This video is extremely accurate. Found a lot of real-life Pokemon. Y'all should definitely click the link in the description or in the comment section and go over to that video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon-related content. And there's music and other creepy stuff, because I love creepy stuff. Be sure to follow both Alex and myself on Twitter for more updates and memes. Also, if you're into Twitch, be sure to follow me on Twitch. I like to stream. There's a lot of cute emotes and stuff. But anyway, I'll see you on Alex's channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.